Hi guys, here's your boy Franklin here, coming to you from the Who's Right podcast. New podcast talking about mostly the Mets, just because I love talking about the Mets. I'm a fan just like y'all. No affiliation to the Mets, no affiliation to any the media outlets. Just a fan here trying to talk about the Mets because I have a lot to say, just like y'all have a lot to say about the Mets, right? And love to banter with y'all. Comment in the comment section and let me know what you think about this video. If you do like this video, share, hit that like button, and I love your support. So a little bit about the podcast. It's probably going to evolve through the life of this podcast, right? We're going to do different things, but the goal for the season, when the season comes back around, is that we're going to, try to come twice a week, in between series and stuff like that. But depending on how that is, but we're going to try to come on at least twice a week, and in the off season, since this is starting in the off season, it's going to be a little choppy. It's probably not going to. We're not going to come twice a week because there's not much to talk about unless there's something breaking or something like that. And so just to give you a heads up, that's not gonna happen during the off season. During the off season, but we're gonna try to come at least once a week in the off season. And the reason I say I'm gonna have my sons with me. Sometimes they're both gonna be with me, or sometimes just one. But they're gonna, they want to talk about the Mets as well, because they haven't seen anything good so far. We're hoping that Cohen will change this around, and I still believe Cohen is doing good stuff to change this around, but they haven't seen it yet. But they'll be on here and they'll be sharing their thoughts and stuff like that. So. And then we're also going to have some other friends of mine that are fans of other teams, mainly the NL East fandom. We're going to talk a lot about other teams here. It's called the Who's Right podcast, but at the end of the day, it's going to be an all-around baseball kind of podcast because both myself and my boys like to talk about different teams, what's going on, and also the guys that I'm gonna come on from that are fans of other teams in the NL East. They love talking what's going around along in baseball too. So I look forward to that, and I'll unveil the name of that podcast when I bring those guys on, or that segment, better put, and you'll see what we're gonna have for that, and it's going to be who's right, right? We're going to be bantering different teams, different fandoms, different opinions, and we're going to figure out who's right, right? At the end of the day, it's all good and fun. Sports are fun. It's not a live and die situation. So, I like to have fun with it. Love talking baseball. Love talking about other teams, and that'll be good. But this video. Wanted to start off with not only kind of giving you a little snippet on what it's going to be, but also wanted to give you my opinion on the year and on the hire David Stearns and letting go of Eppler and Buck and all that good stuff. Just because let's talk about it, right? That's why we're here. There's no reason other that we're here. So the season, great disappointment. There's no new thing there. But at the end of the day, I have no qualms on how we went about it. I was supporting the idea of bringing the high price pitchers like Scherzer and Verlander and essentially buy a championship, the new, building up the new empire. But it didn't work out. And And that was the risk, right? When you bring in older guys, the risk is that it doesn't work out because they're not the same players that they were before, right? Along with a couple other signings, as much as I love Escobar, great clubhouse guy, great guy in general, but he just wasn't cutting it. He was not doing what we thought he was going to do. And it's unfortunate because I really like Escobar, but what can you do? And the whole Vogelback situation. I mean, what Met fan wanted that situation to be prolonged the way it was, but it was, and obviously there were reports that Billy Epler was forced in the issue, but at the end of the day, I still put that on some on Buck, just because you are been managing for how long? 30 years at least, right? I don't know the exact number, but you've been managing so long, and you didn't have the will to give your opinion on that and to fight back on that a little bit and to step up your game, and obviously, I don't think he did. I don't think he had the backbone anymore. Kind of, and the reason I say that, there's a couple reasons why I say that. Is when we first hired Buck, I was really excited because I always kind of thought he wasn't really given a chance in the other places that he was at, or when he was. He was let go, and then the other manager took it to the promised land. But he did a great 2022. All the in-game stuff, and but when things were going wrong, is kind of when we needed Buck to be Buck, or the Buck that we thought Buck was going to be, and he just wasn't. Managing is great when you're winning. When you're winning, anybody can manage. But a manager's true kind of, opinion of the manager, I don't know what the right word is, but the true test of a manager is when things aren't going well. And I kind of, in New York, you'll see this reference, kind of the way I saw Buck this year, or at least not. Let me rephrase that. The way it came out that Buck was basically doing everything management was saying without question. It kind of came off to me kind of like the last years of Tom Coughlin with the Giants, right? Kind of very desperate to stay as manager instead of managing. So kind of like Tom Coughlin wanted to stay coach. Kind of that's why he let Odell Beckham run wild when normally Tom Coughlin wouldn't allow that. It's kind of how I saw Buck this year, especially after everything that came out. It kind of draw me back to that moment where, and then more evident to that Buck was so desperate to manage this year that he says, "I want the Angels job." Who wants the Angels job? I mean, I'm gonna let that sit there right there. Trout, yeah, great, but Ohtani's not gonna be there. I mean, it's a rebuild right now in Anaheim. So I don't understand. And he basically put his name out there that's where he wants to go. So again, yeah, that kind of reminded me of that situation with the whole Tom Coughlin, that he was desperate to stick around. He was no longer the Tom Coughlin we knew back then, right? He was the Tom Coughlin trying to save his job, and that's how I saw Buck this year. Buck was after all that came out, he's the Buck that wanted to save his job. And at the end of the day, yeah, there are 30 of these jobs. You want to stay where you are, but at the end of the day, you still need to manage. You can't give up your principles or your belief, because at the end of the day, you're the manager. And if you're the manager, your task, yes, you get the director from the top, and it comes down. But at the end of the day, the reason why you've been managing for 30 years is you would think that you have some sort of pull, some sort of opinion that will be respected because you've been doing it for so long. And the fact that he wasn't even doing that anymore, especially after the Tommy Pham comments that, he was like, yeah, I can't put you in the lineup because they don't want you in the lineup versus this pitcher, even though you've done well. That just doesn't make sense to me. It just, I'm sorry to tell, I know that everything's run through the front office, but the reason he's not a new manager, he's not the first year, second year manager. He's a manager that's been on several different teams and has been managing over 30 years. You would think you got some pull, that you got some sway, that you can do. Have your opinion and it be respected. And if it wasn't, then why would you manage? Why do you want to be here? I'm sorry, I get it. There's only 30 of these jobs, but if I can't manage the way I can manage, obviously there's fights that you're gonna fight, some fights that you don't. But at the end of the day, that Vogelback situation, not so much the Tommy Pham thing because he was a new player to the team, but that Vogelback situation, that's a big stain on your managerial career. I don't care if it's coming up from the front office. You're the one making the lineup. You're the one, let me rephrase that. You're the one handing the lineup to the umpire. You're the one doing that, not the front office. So, and you're a 30-year manager. I'm sorry, I just can't accept that. I can't. I don't get it. I just don't understand it. I've been in situations where I've been told to do things that I didn't agree with, and sometimes I gave in, but there were a lot of times I didn't, just because it just went fully against what I believe. I believe a manager of Buck stature is able to say no sometimes. And if he's not, then what are we doing? What are we doing? If he's not being respected that way, do you want to be there? I know I wouldn't want to be there if I'm not respected, because guess what? That's giving me ulcers. I can't do my job. If I can't do my job, why do I want to be there? Just to have the job? I'm sorry to tell you, I can't go on with that because that's not me. So I can't just have a job to just have a job. I got to be able to do what I was hired to do. And if I'm not able to do that, then what are we doing? It's just that plain and simple. So I do agree that there was probably some friction with the front office. I do agree that some things were going on, but at the end of the day, you are the manager. Now, let me rephrase that. You are a manager that's been coaching for a long time. And to me, that changes things. This year we're going to have a new manager. And yeah, if he bends the knee a few more times than he would like, I get it. You're getting your feet wet. You're still learning how to be the man. And so I get it. He gets a pass. if he gets these kind of directives. But I'm sorry, I can't sit here and say, Buck, it's okay for you to bend the knee like that when the Vogelback situation is a big stain on what we consider you as a manager, right? All year long, the topic was Vogelback, Vogelback, Vogelback. Mind you, a lot of things going on around, right? Scherzer's not pitching well. Verlander got hurt. The first month, yeah, Escobar was talked about, but that was quickly dismissed because Beatty came up and played. But Vogelback was the thing that we needed to change, and I'm sorry, that's on Buck. I can't accept that that's a directive. And if that's the case, why did you want to be there? Why you want to be there? If they're forcing them on you, so yeah, that's my opinion on the whole Buck situation. I respected what he did in 2022, but at the end of the day, Buck needed to go, and I'm okay with it. I hope that we get a manager that has a little bit more of a backbone. Sorry to say that about Buck. I love Buck, but it's just I just can't accept not having a little bit of backbone on things that you might believe in and things that might cost your job, right? Having a hole in the lineup, because Vogelback was a hole in the lineup. I don't care what he did in August or September when things didn't count. When we needed Vogelback, he was a hole in the lineup. Automatic out. And then on top of that, you can't use him in any other situation. He can't play the field. He can't run. If the game was on the line, he had to be pinch ran for if he gets on base. At the end of the day, that whole situation was a mess. And for that alone, I kind of put that on Buck. But again, wish Buck the best on the next thing he's going to do, and we'll see what that is. But on to Eppler. A little disappointed on the whole situation with the whole IL stints and stuff like that, and not because of Eppler doing it, because we know that it was a whole league-wide thing that gets done, and for the league to come down on the Mets about it, it's more we're the example more than anything else. And I did think that Eppler would be a good fit with everybody, with Stearns and all that. And because one of my biggest targets this year is Yamamoto, and I think he would have been a great asset for that because of the whole Senga and Ohtani, all that, and so kind of disappointed. But at the end of the day, this is a Stearns show, right? Stearns is the one running this, and in Stearns we trust. So at the end of the day, it's not something that I'm gonna lose sleep about, just because this is Stearns' ship, and he's the one that's going to be running things. And regardless of if Eppler was there or not, yes, he makes things easier for Stearns because there's some things that he would have been responsible for doing, and now we don't have a GM to do that kind of stuff. So at the end of the day, it's going to be missed because we don't have a GM right now. Hopefully we get that filled soon, but we don't have a GM. So at the end of the day, what can you do? It's not something that's going to break the bank. It's not something that's going to hurt us, I don't believe, in the long run, because like I said before, multiple times already, this is Stearns' ship. and the Stearns we trust, right? He's been given a lot of power. He's been given a lot of ways to not ways, a lot of access to everything. He's going to be running it. No other way to put it. So that yeah. So that's what I got to say about Eppler. That's all I need to say about Eppler. There's nothing else to say about Eppler. So good luck on what he's got next. And then Stearns. Stearns is a guy we needed, I think. For a few years, Cohen has been trying to do it in different, one way. He was trying to get players, keep us competitive. Obviously, we weren't competitive this year. We, kind of a wasted year of Lindor because he had such an awesome year, and we kind of wasted that year. And so we needed Stearns. We needed Stearns to come in and kind of change the culture. And I think he's already done that, just the way he holds himself in press conferences and stuff like that. It's just, I think it's a new dawn for Mets baseball, and I am so excited and happy to see it. Who would have thunk that you have two fans running the Mets, right? You got the owner who's a Mets fan, so he bled with us, and then you got our Pobo, who's also a Mets fan, sneaking into baseball games, a guy that basically bled blue and orange just like all of us. Yeah, for 10 years or so. I don't know how long he's been an executive. Because, as you all know, he started with the Mets organization as an intern. So for 10 years or so, yeah, he took a break from being that Mets fan. But guess what? Now he's that Mets fan again, and it's just great to see. Just because it's hopefully it turns out to be the same what we all expect. A Met fan that actually. A Pobo, an executive that actually cares about the team, an executive that actually, and let me not say that, because at the end of the day, all executives care about what they're putting on the team. So, going down the line, all the GMs that we've had. So let me not say that. What I mean is, along with an owner that wants to win, not just make the playoffs. An owner that wants to win and now has given an executive the opportunity to win, and hopefully Stearns is the guy that takes us there. Hopefully Stearns is the guy, and I believe he is. I believe he's the guy. But at the end of the day, we finally have a combination of a good executive and an owner that wants to win, but is smart about it. He's not somebody, yeah. Some people would say what we did the last couple of years isn't smart, but it was exciting. Ultimately, it was exciting. It didn't turn out the way we planned it, but it was exciting. And so that's all we want to do. We want to that's all we want. Let me not do. That's all we want is an owner that wants to win, an owner that wants to be long-lasting in the sense that he wants to keep us competitive for decades. And so I'm excited about it. I believe Stearns is the guy that's gonna get us there. At the end of the day, time will tell. But yeah, I believe in Stearns. and in Stearns we trust. So, guys, I'm gonna end it there. It was great talking to you. But in the later videos, we're going to continue on kind of developing this channel, developing this podcast, and hopefully in the next couple of videos. Don't know when, but we'll start having my sons on the show and start bantering. But guys, it was good talking to you. And yeah, let's go Mets.